Since the dawn of time, humanity has been at war with cold. We invented fire to ward off the cold. We built houses to section ourselves off from the cold. And we moved to places like Death Valley to get away from the cold. No, Grandma, I don't care that it's a dry heat. 220 degrees is still unfit for human habitation! But perhaps we got it all wrong. What if instead of running away from the cold, we weaponized it? Well, that's what I'm about to do today, because today we're going to find out, can you beat Skyrim with only Frostbite? I wake up, get ready to be executed for the crime of being the main character, and choose my race. I go with a high elf, because 50 extra points of magicka is nothing to sneeze at, and I also play as a woman, because the intrusive thoughts told me to. A bad dragon, don't look that up, starts wrecking up the joint and allows me to escape. Advar and I run through the castle and run across a mage who is too stupid to realize that torturing is an ineffectual way of obtaining information. But Mr. Monotone, you may be saying, don't you torture people? To which I would say, 1, I defy you to prove that in a court of law, and 2, hypothetically, if I did, it would be for my own psychopathic pleasure not to gather information. We make it outside, I learn Frostbite, and now the challenge can commence. Okay, now that I have the thing, I can explain why, in my opinion, Frostbite is the worst of the novice level destruction spells. It's actually very simple. Fucking everything has frost resistance. Nords, the most prevalent humanoid race in the game, frost resistance. Frostbite spiders, frost resistance. Same goes for every enemy with frost or snow in its name, including, of course, frost dragons. But the biggest annoyance for me will be Draugr. Those undead fucks roam in packs and all have a 50% resistance to frost. We can see this resistance in action as I enter Bleak Falls Barrow and am forced to run around the room Hanna-Barbera style just to take down 2 Draugr. Thankfully, I'm able to exploit the Draugr Overlord's wake-up animation to get the drop on him, allowing me to slow him down enough to take him out and obtain the Dragonstone.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
I start making my way to Whiterun when I come across a wannabe Stormcloak, and I blast him down, because I can't stand a racist. Random acts of murder though, that's fine. I start making for the main gate, but then I sense a fellow psychopath in need, so I take a detour around the castle and find a jester who is having trouble with his wagon wheel. So I convince a local farmer to assist him and inadvertently save the man from being butchered by a clown. Having done my good deed for the day, I reward myself with another act of murder. This time I make my way to Riften and murder a woman so disliked that despite having half a dozen witnesses to the crime, no one reports my gruesome act to the cops. Rest in piss, bitch. I'm psychically pulled to Windhelm, where I meet a kid named Aventus, who coincidentally has been praying to the Dark Brotherhood to kill the same bitch I just killed. He thanks me, gives me a cheap piece of china, and I take a nap in a heavily populated tavern and get kidnapped by the Dark Brotherhood for stealing their kill. Is what I would say, but apparently the game glitched or something, because I wake up safe and sound. Fine then, if I can't be a serial killer, no one can! I spend several minutes trying to get Blood on the Ice to start, and I worried that my game glitched again and the quest wouldn't start. Thankfully I'm just an idiot and forgot that it only starts at night. I talk with the guard and ask what happened, as if the dead body and gallons of blood didn't make that obvious. I ask so many questions that eventually the guard just says, if you're so fucking inquisitive, why don't you solve the murder, jackass? So I question the witnesses, but nobody saw anything, because writing a murder mystery with a direct eyewitness is really hard, you guys. I talk with the steward to lend my assistance, who allows someone with no investigation experience to muck around the crime scene. I follow the world's most obvious trail of blood to an abandoned house, and I browbeat the murder victim's mother into giving me a key. Inside, I discover the killer's journal, a bunch of posters, and an evil-looking amulet. I find the maker of the posters, show her the amulet, and she accuses the court wizard. I then sell this critical piece of evidence for pocket change and then confront the wizard. He has no alibi, but says the real killer will strike tonight, so I take him at his word and murder the real killer in the act. I then rest my head after a hard day's work, and now the Dark Brotherhood kidnaps me. Astrid informs me that because I've stolen a kill from them, I must repay that debt by killing another one of their targets.
That makes sense to me.
I listen to their sob stories, and after some careful consideration, I decide, fuck them all. Astrid approves of my mass murdering ways and extends an invitation to join the Dark Brotherhood. I arrive at the Edgelord door, give the Edgelord password, am introduced to my new family, and get my first contracts. My first target is Nefari, who, as a Nord, resists frostbite and screams in agony as I slowly whittle away his health. It's a good thing everyone in this town recently came down with a sudden case of deafness. My second target is Anodius Papias, and I feel this one is redundant. He sleeps outside in the snow. Frostbite was going to kill him regardless of my involvement. My last target is Beatild, and this one was easy. I just ambush her in her own home and freeze her to death. As we all know, screams of terror are easily muffled by thin wooden walls, so I get away with this one scot-free. I return to the sanctuary and discover that the clown I helped earlier is, just like a real clown, a serial killer. I'm given my next task by Astrid, and I'm sent over to Markarth to talk with an apothecary, but get distracted by this cool intrigue plot going on.
Thou shalt get sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
I meet up with a man with conspicuous face paint, and he wants me to figure out what all this Forsworn nonsense is about. I talk with the attempted murderee, and she informs me that she was hired to steal the deed to the silver mine for the Empire so they can take it over. I don't think that's how that works. I then enter the local homeless shelter, ransack the would-be murderer's room, and discover a note from someone named N. Upon exiting, I'm assaulted by a ruffian for being too nosy, and despite this being a blatant act of self-defense, casting Frostbite on him lands me an assault charge, so I'm forced to punch his lights out. Now I know what you're thinking, and 1, you should see a therapist, and 2, yes, this does fail the challenge. But we all know I was going to fail this challenge when I get to Parthenax anyway. This video is about the journey, not the destination. Anyway, after I punch this asshole's teeth out, he tells me that he was sent by Nepos the Nose, and thanks to the all-knowing journal I keep on me, I know where to find him. I then follow up the Silvermine lead and talk with Thonar Silverblood. He politely tells me to fuck off, but after his wife dies of being stabbed with a knife by a Forswornitis, he tells me that he has the Forsworn leader locked up in his prison mine, and once again tells me to fuck off. Armed with this knowledge, I confront Mr. The Nose, and he lore dumps the history of the Forsworn on me, and then pulls the old, "You'll never take me alive, copper," and tries to jump me. Ah, good. It's been a while since I've satiated my bloodlust. Having cracked the mystery, I return to Facepaint Man, only to find out that the guards sent him to hell and I've just been sentenced to a lifetime of manual labor. I'm thrown in the mine and told to get digging. I ignore that order and start making friends instead. I talk with Borkol, who says he'll let me see the Forsworn leader in exchange for a shiv. I then talk with Grisvar the Unlucky, wonder how I got that name, and he says he'll sell me a shiv for some skooma. I ask for some from Dutch, he says no, I say, "Pwitty please," and then he lets me have it. I exchange the skooma for a shiv, give the shiv to Borkol, and get in to see Madnock. He says he'll help me escape, but first I have to listen to Breg's sob story about how he was born with glass bones and paper skin or whatever. After I do that, Madnock instructs me to kill Grisvar. Oh, so that's how he got his name. After I'm done with that, we escape through this tunnel that's been here the whole fucking time. Madnock says I'm a real Forsworn now, and says no one will remember that I'm an escaped fugitive because they'll be too distracted by the Forsworn massacre.
Yep, that stands up to scrutiny.
I finally remember what I came to the city for and talk with Muri. She wants me to hunt down and slaughter her ex-boyfriend like the dog he is, and also the woman he was cheating on her with. So I roll up to his secret clubhouse, he spots me immediately, and instead of attacking me, he monologues long enough for me to kill him before he can fight back. I ransack the homewreker's house, but turn up empty. Then as I'm leaving, I catch her returning for the evening, so I attack her on the spot, and she just sits there and takes it. I return to Muri for my reward, and now Astrid wants me to eavesdrop on the clown because she thinks that he is a traitorous whore. So I snuggle up next to my dead mother, and come to find out, Cicero is not a traitorous whore, but merely a crazy-ass nutjob. I discover that I too am loony as a toon because my dead mom's corpse starts telling me to talk to strangers. Cicero discovers me, I explain we are not so different you and I, and Astrid tells me not to talk to strangers, but to kill them instead. The first stranger I kill is a vampire lumberjack. I burst into his house uninvited, wait for his wife to walk 2 feet away from their door, and then spend a solid 20 seconds blasting him with frost magic, because not only are Nords resistant to frost, but so are vampires. My second target is the world's shittiest bard, and I try my damnedest not to get caught for this one. And by that, I mean I try and place baskets over all the witnesses' heads. After they wiggle them off, I decide, fuck it, and just ice his ass in full view of everyone. I return to the sanctuary, and Astrid decides that talking with strangers is cool actually. I meet up with the client, and he wants us to assassinate the fucking Emperor. That's understandable, I want to kill my boss all the time. My boss is me, by the way.
Suicide is badass.
No.
He gives me a necklace to pawn for expenses, and now I have to make my way through the sewers to find the broker. Pop quiz! How do I deal with the homeless people in the way? Do I A. Exterminate them with extreme prejudice? If you picked A, congratulations, you win! Your prize is a necktie made of used jizz napkins. I free everyone's favorite rat, pawn the necklace, and Astrid gives me my next target, the Emperor's cousin at her own wedding. You might expect security to be tight given the people involved, and you'd be wrong, bitch, because I just walk up to the bride and kill her without any resistance. My next target is the son of the head of royal security, and I'm instructed to kill him in a city and plant an incriminating letter on him. So I bounce around the entire goddamn map trying to catch this guy, and I eventually corner him in Markarth. Despite me not getting a bounty, the game tells me you cannot fast travel while guards are pursuing you, so I'm forced to run halfway across the fucking country before the game unshits itself and allows me to proceed. Back at the sanctuary, the killer clown has turned carnivorous and attacked the lizard man. I discover where he went, and Astrid grants me the use of an infernal steed to pursue him. I track Cicero to the Dawnstar Sanctuary, where he has enlisted the aid of the ghosts of Christmas past to protect him. These ghosts are completely immune to frostbite, so I'm forced to run away from them like a little bitch until I make it to Cicero. I wanted to kill him, I really did, but if I stopped for even a second to put him on ice, the ghosts sodomize me with their ghost swords, so the clown gets to live. I lie my ass off to Astrid, and she informs me that my next target is Gordon Ramsay. We don't know where he is, but old man Festus knows who does, so I scare the information out of the sous chef, kill him in broad daylight, do the same to Ramsay, steal his route of passage, and then leave his body out in the open. I then receive a poison root from Astrid, use the writ to enter the Emperor's tower, don't poison the Emperor's soup, because despite our family challenge, I decide that wouldn't be allowed, and turn his ass into a popsicle, before running outside and finding out that Astrid was the real traitorous whore the whole time. Commander Morrow explains that Astrid offered me in exchange for leaving the Dark Brotherhood alone, but he's
altering the deal
and is going to kill them anyway. I butcher his henchmen and run for the sanctuary. I arrive too late and am forced to experience the heart-wrenching tragedy of watching my family, most of whom I talk to all at once, getting cut down by the Apprentice Oculatus. I rescue Nazir, and then the voices in my head tell me to give my dead mother a hug, so I do, and take a nap. I wake up and confront Astrid, who looks like a well-done piece of shawarma. She confesses her sins, I try to cool her off, and she dies of natural causes. The voices remind me that the Emperor still needs killing, so I talk with Amand, who informs me that the Emperor is on a motherfucking boat. I stop by the docks to kill Commander Morrow,
take a good hard look at the motherfucking boat
and climb in through the anchor hole. I send the remaining Apprentice Oculatus to Sithis and confront the real Emperor. He tries to monologue at me, but ain't nobody got time for that shit, so I send him to the Shadow Realm before he can finish and go on my merry way. I report my success to Amand, receive my reward, and never talk to any of these assholes ever again. I finally report the dragon sighting to Jarl Bolgriff and give the Dragonstone to Habsburg Chin. This causes the dragon to start attacking the Western Watchtower because life is a game and free will is an illusion. Fire-breathing dragons are actually weak against frost magic, and that, plus the half a dozen guards, make this first dragon fight a joke. And not a good joke either, more like one of the jokes I make. I absorb his soul, let loose the world's loudest belch, and get maulonged at for several minutes before heading to the Greybeards. Upon arrival in Iverstead, I'm immediately arrested for murdering that bard. Thankfully I'm rich, so laws don't apply to me. I gleefully kill everything I see while climbing the mountain, except the frost troll, because I'm still a little bitch at heart. I meet up with the cloister of old white men, I hurl expletives at them, they teach me some fancy new slurs, and send me off to retrieve one of those novelty drinking horns. I hop on my invisible horse and make my way to Oostengrav. I show some mages what real magic looks like, run away for some Draugr like, let me check my notes here. A little bitch. And use my shouts to navigate a puzzle and discover that someone has stolen the horn. I meet up with the thief, realize after 13 years that she can't shout and therefore should not have been able to obtain the horn, and then miss everything she says because I'm too hung up on how Bethesda missed that detail to pay attention. I go to Kynesgrove, a woman tells me that a dragon is attacking, and the local guards drop dead from shock. During this fight, I discover something wonderful. By rapidly unequipping and re-equipping an item that increases magicka, in my case the Necromancer Amulet, you can get effectively infinite magicka. This is because when you unequip something that gives you health, magicka, or stamina, you lose whatever amount it gave you, but gain it back when you re-equip it. However, magicka and stamina can't go below 0, so if you unequip an item while below the amount of magicka it gives you and then re-equip it, you'll get back more than you lost. Meaning now I effectively have I then use this unlimited power to slay the dragon, and Delphine answers all my burning questions except the one about how she got the horn. Delphine, like a true Nord, blames everything on the elves, so she devises a scheme to get in one of their parties and get to the bottom of this dragon business. I give my shit to our man on the inside, arrive at the party, stage distraction, and then cut these stuck-up pompous assholes down a peg. Ignore the fact that I am also an elf. I discover that the Thalmor don't know shit about the dragons, free a prisoner, and the unthinkable happens. Malborn, my faithful companion, is struck down.
In the arms of the angel.
I return to Delphine, she tells me to locate Esbern, I return to the recently depopulated sewers, find Esbern, return to Delphine, and now we're off to Alduin's Wall. The Forsworn are too busy fighting a dragon to notice me killing them, so I clear out the courtyard in no time flat, solve some puzzles so easy they stretch the definition of the word, slip my wrist because I know what quest comes next and I'm trying to end it all, discover that we need a shout to defeat Alduin, and I talk with an Iceman to get some magic shapes. I have prepared a haiku about my feelings on Blackreach. Dim the lights please? For this fucking place, I have but only 4 words. Go fuck your mother. Anyway, I get the Elder Scroll. Yippee. I return to the Greybeards, they hurl every slur in the book at me for being a filthy elf, and then give me the power to tell Wind to fuck off. I arrive at the top of the mountain, fail the challenge, read a book for the first time in my godforsaken life, watch a trio of assholes make Alduin my problem, and ineffectually attack Alduin with ice magic while Parthenax does all the heavy lifting. Now we need to capture a dragon in Dragon's Reach, and that means dealing with my favorite quest!
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
After I'm done nursing the headache that quest gives me, I shout, Odiving is a stupid moron with an ugly face and a big butt, and his butt smells and he likes to kiss his own butt, into the sky. This enrages him so thoroughly that he scoops an innocent guard into the sky. We trap him between some 2x4s from Home Depot, I ask for a ride, he tells me to eat shit, and then gives me a ride anyway. Alright, the final stretch. Not much left to say really. I do a bunch of spinning boulder puzzles, jump into the vision pool, yell at some clouds, try and enter the pearly gates by force, meet up with everyone's favorite trio of losers, and blow ice up Alduin's ass like a satanic bidet, and prove no, you cannot beat Skyrim with only Frostbite. Everything resists frost, do not try this. Or do, I'm not the boss of you. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. My name is Mr. Monster96, and I'll see y'all later.